Oh, okay. So hi everybody. My name is Joanne. I've been using Thermomix for 12 years now. And I've been a consultant in Toronto for almost 7 years. So this is one of the things that my family love the most, sous vide steak. So what is sous vide? Sous vide is actually a French way of making food, mostly steak, salmon, fish, duck breast. And so basically you are putting your ingredient, the meat, the fish, or sometimes people use pear or apples, a lot of vegetables into a sous vide bag. Okay. And then you are using low heat temperature. And so with Thermomix, this is very good function that we have with Thermomix. And I think most of you have a Thermomix and you know the three circles: time, temperature, and speed. And so with the temperature, you're controlling the entire food making process at an equal time and equal temperature. So no fluctuation. When you're doing anything on the stovetop, if you're turning to high heat and low heat, sometimes it varies, okay? But with Thermomix, that's the one thing, the control temperature. So today, the sous vide steak, why sous vide steak? So a lot of people say they like to go to a restaurant and they like to go to steakhouse. And you know that nowadays with the inflation and things just go even higher in price. So with sous vide steak, you are not failing. 你不会这个做失败. It's really hard to make it wrong. Okay. So what you need to do with Thermomix, all of us, we have the mixing bowl. Okay. And on the eShop, you will have a product that you can purchase. This is called the sous vide package. And when you open the sous vide package, it has a plate cover. The plate cover that they gave us in this package is a plastic one, but in this case, we will need a metal peeler and plate cover. Okay, so what you need to do is make sure you have this plate cover metal, and then you see the wing. One side is higher, the other side is lower, and make sure the wing is high. The higher one is attached to here, so nothing is coming out. Okay, now you also need to choose your steak. Actually, go back to this package. In this package, they are giving you about 30 bags. Okay, how is this bag different from the normal Ziploc bag? So these are called sous vide bags. They are thicker and they're supposed to withstand heat higher than your Ziploc. So, and if you don't buy from the Thermomix eShop, you can get it from Amazon. You just type in sous vide. Okay, sous vide is low temperature cooking, and you are gonna put in. So right now, I'm gonna show you how to preheat. Well, not preheat. Set up this. So basically, you will fill your water about 1800 cc, okay? 1800克的水. And you need some lemon water. And I already prepared for it. And actually, before you guys came in, I already sous vide one steak, so I can show you how. And so right now, what you need to do is to fill the water. This is my so for you guys will be like just regular drinking water or just tap water is fine. Okay. So we are gonna put on thermometer. All right, I'm gonna start my camera soon so that you see the machine more than my face, but I will show you a steak soon. So at this time, I'm using a Chinese recipe on Hokkaido, but you don't need to do any of these. Like if you want to follow, you can follow a recipe. Just type in sous vide steak. In Chinese, 是慢炖牛排或是舒肥牛排，你打进去都有的。Okay? Now, I am gonna I'm gonna flip my phone, my phone so that you see my screen. And then we'll show you the steak part. Okay, so here. All right. All right, so to do sous vide, we are gonna heat up the water with lemon juice first. Why lemon juice? Because when your blade inside, it's turning, but you have the blade cover. So if you're just cooking water for 15 minutes, because we are cooking low temperature, depending on how well you want your steak to be done. So there is a sous vide function right here. It looks like a thermometer, okay, called sous vide. So I'm gonna heat up my water first, like 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna do 55. So I want my steak to be medium rare, okay? Between medium rare 就是3分到5分的牛排 medium rare to medium, you're setting up your temperature to between 52 to 55, okay? If you want a medium, 如果要5分熟的，那你就在58度 58 for medium. If you want your steak to be like medium well, then you do.
This call will be recorded.
Okay,
This call is no longer being recorded.
All right, so here I'm gonna do 55 for 10 minutes. And then at this point, I'm gonna show you how to prepare my steak. All right, so okay, so can you guys see my screen? Steak. So normally when you go to the supermarket, my favorite place to go to supermarket to get steak is Longo's, Costco's. They have pretty good steak. So I was gonna buy ribeye, 乐眼牛排, because it has more marbles. But when I went yesterday, they didn't have good ones. So I bought the sirloin. 这是沙朗牛排. So what I do usually is when we in my house we have a lot of steak. We like to eat steak. So I would buy 3 or 4, and we will dry age it. So dry aging is you just season this thing, okay? This meat. Make sure you pat it dry with a paper towel, and then salt and pepper. Enough salt because I need to show you. So this one I didn't season before I put it in the fridge. And pepper. Okay, and you're on both sides, okay? So what I do is I have a rack like this, and I will put it on my meat. And then this one I have a little bit of pepper already. Okay, so usually this piece is gonna sit in my fridge for about 6 hours before I actually cook it. All right, but because, well, I did it this morning. So if you don't do this part, your sous vide steak will taste pretty good already. So don't worry about that. So here I'm putting, this is one of the bags from the sous vide package. It's quite big, so you can put it fit too. Sometimes people like to buy bone-in ribeye, okay? So ribeye is more fatty, and you see this is sirloin, so it's just different part of the beef. And I'm gonna put it here. Open up so somebody asked me, what do I do with this, okay? You don't open up the little sticker here. You open up the Ziploc from here. And then we're gonna put the steak in. 这个牛排就完全的放到下面. Now you can leave it the way it is, okay? And I usually put a couple of garlic clove in here. All right. And then I have rosemary. So I'm not gonna open up my rosemary. So in the summertime, we plant a lot of on the recipe, there's a recipe that if you type in sous vide, they tell you to put thyme, 百里香, okay? But when I went to Longo's yesterday, they didn't have it. I guess it's the season, you don't have that. Okay, so I'm gonna move this and then show you how I pump this thing out. All right, so you're gonna zip it first. Make sure, if you don't have a pump, a lot of people just put like a basin of water and then help you seal. Make sure that the water is out, okay? Sorry, not the water's out. Just make sure that the air is like, this part is all tight. And then we use a pump right here. Okay. You have to suck the air. Okay, so this is pretty tight. Did you see that? It's like vacuum. Okay, so this piece, a lot of times my family, we do thick, like big chunk of steak. That's sous vide. That way we will use the whole bag. But in this case today, I could actually have another 2 maybe. All right, but to be careful of this, I usually tape over this bag because I have experienced before that actually water went in. Now, a lot of people, they have a electronic vacuum, and then they come with bags like this. These are all sous vide bags. So they are withstanding heat. If you're cooking well done or medium well steaks, then you would need to crank it to 62 to 65. Okay. So in this case, this bag is ready for sous vide. Okay. So far, any questions? All right. No question. You guys can stop me anytime. Okay. So right now I'm going to put this in. Sorry. All right. And then we're going to put this in. All right. So my water is already 55 degrees. You have to make sure the meat is totally submerged in your sous vide bag. Okay, so you're gonna make sure nothing is going in. So I would do it this way. If you have to press it, that's fine. Okay, that's 55. Okay, so I am gonna let this one cook. So for this type of steaks, I would do 1 hour, so 60 minutes. Oops. 60 minutes, 1 hour, 55 degrees at and then just cover it. Okay, and then sous vide. Now I'm gonna move this one to my another Thermomix so that I can show you the cauliflower rice. Okay, so give me a second. Any questions so far?
Any question you can ask Joanne will give you some answer for your question. So it's question time.
Okay, so if you have any sous vide questions, so I personally like sous vide steaks, sous vide duck breast. So why sous vide better? Okay, so French way of sous videing is you put, like I said, the ingredients in the bag, and then you are cooking it at 55 degrees. So everything, the entire piece of your steak, your duck breast, your fish, from inside to outside, it's 55 degrees by the time you finish it. Now, I personally like, yeah, I'm going to show you. This one is already sous vide, but let's do the cauliflower rice first, and then I'll show you how to grill this. Now, usually I like to buy my steak. In the recipe, they said 2 centimeter, 1.5 to 1.5 to 2 centimeter. I like my steak to be about 1.5 inch thick. That's the best, because when it's too thin, there's no purpose of sous videing except, so the sous videing is like you are vacuuming the entire piece of meat, and the juice or the nutrients are staying in the bag, in your piece of ingredient. And that's why and when you come out, like when this piece come out, we just need to sear it. When we searing, 我们就在外面2个煎过以后, the ingredient, the meat has that juiciness. So that's why I say there's no failing. Okay. Now we're using the other pot here for our cauliflower rice. Now, in my house, my kids eat a lot of vegetables, and we try to cut down our our carbohydrate. They do a lot of exercise and they need a lot of protein. So today I figure if you go to a restaurant, they usually serve you steak with maybe mashed potatoes, some veggies, some pasta, depending on what you order, but a lot of times it's mashed potato. Now we can do a healthier version, okay? So I'm gonna use cauliflower rice. So I'm taking cauliflower rice and give it a little bit of kick to it. So here I'm gonna move my my camera here. All right, so we are using, there's two ways of cooking cauliflower rice. You need about, depending how many people you are, like today, this is 450 grams of cauliflower, and I just cut it to this small. So I'm gonna put it in. If you have less than 450, actually less than 300, I highly recommend you just cook your cauliflower inside the pot. But today I have more. So it's 5 seconds, speed 5. All right. Now 5 seconds, speed 5. That's pretty good. Okay. So because my amount of cauliflower is a lot more than 300, so I'm gonna steam it. All right. So I'm gonna put this entire thing into my Faroma. So Faroma has 2 layers. Today we're gonna do the bottom one. So I'm gonna put it here. Give me a second. I'm moving around. Okay. If you have less than 300, one of the recipe calls, you just cook this with some oil and then 8 minutes. But today we have more than 300, so I'm gonna steam it. One of the benefit of steaming it is like the liquid is not a lot. So the liquid will go into my Thermomix mixing bowl. Okay, so we have to make sure here. And then in here, I'm gonna add some water to steam. All right, so how much water? Enough to cover the round part of your blade, okay? So now we're gonna steam it. Now I need to make sure that in my Faroma, there's some opening for it to steam. So we're gonna use this and steam it right here. Now, later on, when the temperature, so sorry, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, already put it in. I'm gonna also steam some broccolini, and I have carrots. Oh, right here, carrots. Now, carrots I probably can put in now because it takes about the same time. Okay. And then broccolini is maybe the last 5 minutes. Okay. So 8 minutes for Roma at I'm gonna do speed 1. Okay. And now we're gonna see how we're gonna do our steak. Okay. So any questions so far? No sound. Okay. Feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay. So I am gonna heat up my pan. So to cook steak, you need to have high heat to sear. So what do you do with your steak after sous vide? So I'm preheating my pan to my pan has a temperature control too. So this is 450. And then if you're doing on your stovetop, you can do that now. This is the piece I already sous vide, and we're gonna open it up. All right, so before we open it up, I gotta make sure I have enough paper towel. So there's a lot of liquid juice in the steak. So I'm gonna open up. If you can see, let me know, okay? So we're gonna open this up. So you'll see my piece of meat, the steak, it's like, it's half cooked, like inside and out, it's like pinkish. So we're gonna use my paper towel. I'm gonna take out my rosemary and my garlic. These were flavor in my steak. Can you guys see it? 你们看得到吗?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna pat it dry. Make sure when you're searing anything, you need to make sure it's dry. Otherwise, when you put it on, it's gonna splash everywhere, and you don't want that to happen. So we're gonna make sure both sides is seared, dry. Okay. All right. So this piece, if you're buying, what do you call? Ribeye. Ribeye has more marble on the meat itself, but there's also fat. This one is sirloin. Sirloin, the way they cut it, so there's fat. So today I'm gonna try not to use oil. Okay, there's no oil on my pan. I'm gonna use this part. We call the rendering. We're gonna sear with this part first. So there's actually grease, so I can use a natural ingredient. Okay, so get ready. Moving my hands. Okay. So how do I make sure my pan is hot? So don't touch it with your hands, okay? So we do so much stuff at home that my husband and I have a system. So we're gonna use this part. Can you see? Yeah. Okay, do it here. We're gonna make sure that there's oil come out. Now, a lot of people cook steak with butter, which is really good. I don't use butter just because my son is allergic to it. So you can use avocado oil. Now, because when you're using high temperature meaning with Thermomix, where the highest temperature is 120 Celsius, okay? But when you're cooking steak, anything that require high heat, like bacon, pork belly, that you want to bring out the grease, you need higher temperature to do that, okay? So, yeah.
Leadership candidate Mark Carney seeking supporters in Hamilton. Conservatives are accusing him of conflicts of interest with past business dealings and want him to publicly disclose all of those dealings and previous financial interests.
Part is it's already a little bit caramelized, and we want that happen.
To sit in the Prime Minister's office and to advise.
I actually put a little bit because I want to put more garlic later on. And I usually use avocado oil. So avocado oil can withstand higher temperature than olive oil and canola oil, okay? So with doing your steak, if you want, so mine is medium rare. So 3分到5分的. So, but I want the crust outside. So I would say each side takes about 1 to 2 minutes when you're pan frying it. 1 to 2 minutes. Now, if you want it more cooked, of course, your temperature on Thermomix needs to be higher, 65. That's for medium well. Okay. Now, that's pretty good, eh?
Wow.
So I almost toward the end, I will add some oil and I'm gonna do my, a lot of people call this like a basting. Basting is like I'm putting some herbs and garlic. So I'm gonna cook it with my rosemary and garlic. Okay, so here I'm gonna add some oil. And you will need a spoon, okay? The proper way is actually use butter. And then you're gonna make sure that this is like all the juice from the steak. You are basting the oil, garlic oil onto your steak. But I can't use butter today. My son is eating this, so I am not using steak butter. The olive, the rosemary is very smells really good. 如果不用黄油，你就是用这个酪梨油哦，是很好的油。那我们就是要把两面的这个煎到有一点点这个，哦，这边也很漂亮。Yeah, so you basically need both sides, all these sides. Now my cauliflower is almost done.
请问Joanne，这个时候火是小火对吗？
大火，煎牛排一定是要大火。对，你要让它有这个脆皮的感觉，一定要那个油锅一定要热，但是因为时间很短，一面大概2分钟左右。OK， 我今天油加的不多，所以你没有看到油烟，但是煎牛排会出现油烟的，是因为它已经过了这个油的燃点了。今天这个油没有很多，所以你看得不太出来。我这个是用油电锅的，所以它是450度华氏，大概是215摄氏左右。Okay, my steak is almost done. Okay, now I am going to prepare a clean plate. Okay, so I am gonna almost done my steak. Okay, so I'm gonna bring a steak here. All right, so 我可以关火了。Now, when your steak is done, you don't cut it right away. Okay, here. You're gonna leave it for at least 5 minutes because 它要有一点点那个回收那个收汁啊。Okay, 我的火已经关起来了。So we're gonna put this on, and then I'm gonna drizzle the oil soon, and then our cauliflower is actually done too. Okay, let me show you the cauliflower. All right, so you know that this part you can use like a plate, and our cauliflower is done. I forgot to put the broccolini, so I will do that soon. So let me take out my carrots. So if I have enough leftover grease, I can actually pan fry this in a bit, but today we're gonna be healthy, not so much grease. Okay. All right, let me take out my cauliflower. Sorry, not cauliflower, my broccoli. So this is our cauliflower, and I am putting on salt. Show you. And we put it on here. I have done with cauliflower rice. If you cook it in Thermomix mixing bowl, it's softer with the 8 minutes cooking inside, but it's watery. This is not bad. This has a little bit of crunch like a rice, but it's cooked. Okay. Now we're gonna, some people put butter in it. I won't put butter because I want the juice from the steak to come out. So we're gonna do a little bit of lemon. I already squeezed out some lemon. Then pepper. More salt. Okay, and we'll just stir a bit. Now, if you want a little bit of fat, you can use the steak fat. Now, okay, so you will see, let me get my spoon. Now, this is, do you see it? Now, I'm waiting for my broccolini because I'm just, I have to steam it one more time with the water. So this is a better version of, I wouldn't say better, a healthier version than just mashed potato and steak. And then your veggie. Now, just pretend this is cooked, okay? I forgot to put it in when we were doing the steak. Is that like a very nice thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So you could do cauliflower. You can do, Brussels sprout is a good option to go with steak. You could do, what else? Asparagus. So if you're controlling your diet with less, a lot of protein and a lot of vegetables, that's the option. Okay. So, and you make this at home. Now, this piece of steak, because I bought two, so they're about $15. So compared to going to a restaurant, one order of 8 ounce, it's probably $60 now. So think about it. You're saving 45 minutes. Sorry, for $45, and you are eating pretty healthy. That's the steak. Okay. Now I am gonna turn myself so I see you guys, and you can ask me question.
Okay.
Now I am gonna cut it open so you guys can see what it looks like when I cut it open.
Yes.
All right. So I said after the steak is done, you have to let it rest. Okay. And now we're gonna cut it. Okay.
So
Let me get my cutting board.
yes. And this time, can I show some recipe for everybody to know? Is
Yeah.
that okay, Joanne?
Yes.
Okay, I will share some recipe for you for today. So give me a second. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So today, Joanne do the sous vide. The sous vide is in French. That means like 真空. So that is a French recipe. So when you go to the restaurant, French restaurant, the sous vide steak is very expensive and very delicious. So we can do it on our Thermomix. Then today we do some recipe here. This one. That is called sous vide. That is in Chinese recipe. We also have an English version. Yeah. Like this one. So you can check your cook guide too. Then you can search this recipe. Then you can see the recipe here in English too. And also we have the other one. This one. You can see here. That is a cauliflower. Then some recipe is if in Chinese. Do you know how to translate the recipe to English? I show you before, but today I will show a little bit like when you open your recipe on Cook Guide Do on website, then you can click your mouse right side, then see the translate to which language, because now my language is already a Chinese. So I will show the other language. You can see if you want to do it on English, in English here. So you can see all the Chinese recipe will translate to English recipe here. So you can do it on your website to do the translation here. Okay, so I will show the cauliflower rice here. The recipe called cauliflower rice, and also we have the Chinese version like here, this one, or the other one is this one. And you also can use this one for the cauliflower rice. Okay. Do you have any question for now? Any question? If not, we go back to Joanne.
Okay, so
Wow.
all right, so I actually finished my steaming of the other batch. So I cut it open. Let me put my camera with myself here. So that's already cut open.
Wow.
That's medium rare. Okay.
Wow.
1分到5分的，它的状况就是这样。So that's medium rare. That's how my kids will eat it. They like,
Wow.
yeah, my kids like this. Now, if you want it, that like I said, if you want your steak to be medium to medium well, instead of putting, so I was using 55, you would do 60 or 65. So if you want no pink, then I would say 65. Now, but for me, that's like jerky. So 像牛肉干一样, then it's like, yeah, but this is good. So if I were have more time, I will probably pan fry maybe another minute or so. But that's our pretty good
Wow.
steak dinner. So,
Wow.
okay. This one plate, this doesn't take much. Like this is like one, I'm using, I don't know, half of the cauliflower, but this is one plate. And that I can have, we have people of 5 in our house, but pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So now, when I go to restaurant and I order steak, I will like, sometimes I get really disappointed because I think my steak is pretty good. So I think you can do that. But with Thermomix, this is the one feature that's so well done, like with the control temperature. So you can see me here with the
Yes.
control temperature. Yeah, like if you really want your steak, your next time maybe we'll schedule a Peking duck. So Peking duck, you can do it like we do the duck breast, and then you have the wrappers, and that way you can do Peking duck at home. Yeah, but you see that was very easily done. All you need to do is sous vide for 1 hour. Now, of course, if your steak is thicker, you made it longer just because they need time to make sure the entire piece of meat is one temperature. Okay. Now, my steak right here, if you find it after you make it, okay, let's say my kids, they look at this and say, you know what, it may be too raw. It's okay. We could put it back onto, well, of course, not put it back to the soup bag, but put it back onto your skillet and then pan fry maybe another half minute on these pieces. But they're pretty healthy. So, and it's something that you could do very effortlessly. So I having a parents meeting in like an hour and a half, so I can just leave this. Like this morning, I just have it like all packaged in the sous vide bag, and I did my own thing. I do my dishes, I do my laundry, and the sous vide steak was cooking in Thermomix. And you are not gonna, the steak is not gonna fail just because it's control temperature. Okay?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Hi, Joanne. Thank you for sharing. Quick question. So if, let's say, for example, for this steak, I put the, I guess, salt and pepper, the garlic, and the rosemary, and put it inside the bag, and I guess vacuum seal it. Can I put it in the freezer?
So if you're gonna put, yes, you can put it in the freezer. So in my freezer, I have so many already prepared sous vide bags, not yet sous vide, but they are pre-vacuumed.
Mhm.
And whenever I have guests over, I just take one out,
Mhm.
and
Defrost.
you don't have to defrost it. Okay.
Okay.
You just need a longer time to sous vide and making sure that inside is not frozen by the time you take it out. Like, so if you have today's size of sous vide steak, then you probably have to sous vide 2 hours. Just make sure if it's frozen, you're gonna make sure it's thaw. But you don't need to pre-thaw it before you cook it. So some people ask me, so if I put 90 minutes versus 2 hours, is that going to make a difference? No, because the temperature with the entire piece of meat is one temperature. It's not overcooked. So it's okay, but it will be undercooked because your thickness of your steak. Now, if the steak today is like really thin, maybe only half an hour of sous vide of 65 degrees. Yeah, it just today, my go-to is the 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question. Where do you usually get the duck breast meat?
Oh, okay. So I get my duck breast at Costco, but they don't sell it all the time. They are in the frozen section. They come in pre-pack of 3. Sorry, a pack of 3, and they are like vacuumed already. So what I usually, and the 3 of them is about, I just bought it on the weekend. They are about $20, 3 pieces. The same size as the steak I show you today. It's pretty good. So each duck breast is about $7. Okay. Now it used to be cheaper. Now, if you can find those, like the 3-pack in the frozen section, you can go to Longo's. TNT has it. They come in only 1, and they are not the same price. They are much more expensive.
Higher.
Yes. They are in around they usually put it with so if you go to Longo's, they are very close to all the chicken section. And if you go to TNT, they are usually with the frozen, like frozen whole chicken, usually. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Looking forward for your picking duck class.
Okay. What else? Any other questions? I wish I can have my husband pan fry the steak because he's a pro. But he has to work today. He said, "Yeah, you can do it without me." Like, because we do so much steak at home, and my kids, "What's for dinner?" I say, "Well, when I finish, you can have steak." Yeah.
Just wondering, Joanne.
Yes.
I know that the better parts of the beef steak that may be more tender than the others. If we use more of the cheaper steaks, would they be tender after it's been in the sous vide?
Yes. So my family, because ribeye. A lot of times, ribeye is one of the most expensive part of steak, and because we eat so much steak at home, you can do New York. New York is cheaper, but less fat. So because we're doing sous vide, so the juices already stay inside the meat when you cook it with Thermomix sous vide way. So it's still tender. Now, my family, because we eat so much steak, my husband find a way to buy cheaper steak, a cheaper part of steak. There is a part, I think it's the leg part. It's called picanha. It's what do you call it? A Mexican people use that part a lot. And they come in big slab of meat. And my husband will just cut it into the steak size that I show you today. And then we will sous vide it. So
Tender.
yeah, so that is cheaper. That was probably 1/3 of the price of the ribeye. But you have to buy a big piece and then cut it yourself. The butcher, depending on where, like usually my two places to go get steak, good steak, is Longo's and Costco. But Costco, you have to buy a big amount. For our family, it will be good, but maybe not for everybody in your family. Like if you only have 1 or 2 people eating steak, I say just get pieces from Longo's. Longo's are really good meat, and they are on sale quite a lot. So I went to Longo's yesterday, and I said, husband, so did you not see the sale? I said, I didn't see it, but it was already pretty good price. Yeah.
That's because of family. Usually it's long weekend. The steaks will be on special.
Just to be funny, because there's one time, I think it was sirloin that was on sale. Like I went to the one branch close to my house. I left 2 pack there. The rest I took home because it was so much. I came home with my full table, dining table steaks, and then we just suck, like we vacuum it. Okay.
Also, like sirloin tip is tougher and it still can be tender
Today,
after this way of cooking.
yeah, today this is sirloin. You can see it's like juicy
The
coming.
sirloin top is more tender than sirloin tip.
Yeah, somebody is asking me if I can answer. You can ask question in Chinese. Yes. 请问
Oh, my Mandarin is not good.
No, for the other one.
But I don't know the Chinese name for the parts of the steaks, only in English.
Don't worry, when you go to supermarket, they're all in English. So sirloin, New York, ribeyes, these are the big ones.
So
And
all I want to know is the cheaper part of steaks. Is it going to be more tender using the same method of cooking?
yes, definitely. Okay.
Good.
Yes.
Thanks, Joanne.
Okay.
好，有一些说中文的朋友们想问问题的，也可以用中文哦。利用这个机会，Joanne老师可以提供我们很多很多的经验哦。来，请问
Joanne老师问一下，那个花椰菜饭啊，放在蒸锅里面，下面没有放任何的 parchment paper 吗？
没有，刚刚都没有。
直接放在上面，它也不会掉下去，对不对？
因为我今天刚刚打的是，你们都看到5秒钟速度，你看它没有掉下去。我刚刚因为要马上蒸，所以蒸完我就马上放到我的碗里面。你看它还留在上面，所以我的没有就是它没有掉下去。对，我个人觉得啦，你如果喜欢你的花椰菜饭软一点 ，OK， 那你就在锅里面它8分钟，跟着那个花椰菜饭的那个做法 ，OK， 因为我今天的量大，那我不希望我的花椰菜饭是这样烂烂的，所以我用蒸，OK， 蒸的它是有那个颗粒感的，对，是有一脆脆的。那当然，如果你觉得这太脆了，那你再加个2分钟蒸吧，对，因为我曾经做过，它是放在煮锅里面煮8分钟 Ferroma 的，我发现太软了，就因为它一边搅拌，那也可能有一边搅拌，所以你又就是加速它的那个它碰到蒸汽的那个面积，对，好，还有吗？还有问题吗？
那Joanne可以让我们再看一下今天的 美食让大家流口
太好
水一下，
吃了！
现在好饿，
大家流口水，哇哦！
你看
现在赶快
哇哦，
动起来咯。
这是 medium rare，OK，
嗯
3分到5分之间。当然，因为今天我这块肉还算蛮厚的，所以不
You
是
did
每
a great job,
对，但是它真的很
Joanne.
香。Yeah, it's very nicely done.
Yes, very
所以你
presentable.
买的是 ribeye 嘛，对不对？
是
不是
sirloin，这个今
哦
天是
，salon。
我本来要买ribeye，可是因为我没有看到一片漂亮的 ribeye，所以我就
嗯哼，
对
还有这个 Superstore has the it's like filet mignon on sale, $12.88.
Yeah, filet mignon are this tiny, so it doesn't work in
No, you get the head part is you make it
yes.
thick,
人民用
but
太贵了
but
啦。
round. You can have that at the restaurant. It's very expensive, and you can do it this way too.
I will show you what my family do, and you'll be scared. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. This is our steak, and they're everywhere. Like I have, this is our steak. This
Wow.
big.
太厚了吧？
So of course, with this stick of steak, and this is already pre-seasoned, okay? Yeah, my husband already seasoned. So with this, I cannot use Thermomix. I need a sous vide steak, but that's when we have guests over. And so this type, like you can prepare your meals. You can pre-vacuum your steaks after you buy them from supermarket.
嗯
Yeah.
嗯
4, 5, 10, whatever. Pre-pack and put in the freezer. And when you're ready to eat, like so tomorrow you want to eat it, so take it out tonight or in the morning, like for dinner tomorrow, then you'll be able to sous vide. So because the prep is already done, right? So and the meat for me, I actually do like the fresh one, and usually that piece of meat I show you, we dry age in the fridge first for 24 hours at least. So I put it on the rack. I show you. I put it on the rack so it's air dry. The good restaurant, they usually will tell you on the menu it's dry aged beef. Dry aged,
嗯
yeah, dry
嗯，
aged meaning they
熟成
yeah，这个叫做中文叫做
熟成。
熟成的 and then sometimes they call 28 days. That means they leave it in the fridge or freezer for 28 days, and they will scrape apart the outside to keep the inside, and that's why the
嗯
moisture stay inside. Yes.
嗯哼，
Okay.
我想问一下，就是 Costco 不是卖那种真空那个机器哈？
对，
那个东西能够
可以
代替这个 sous vide 吗？
可以，那个
袋子？
我刚刚已经跟你们说了，如果你没有这个刚刚我说的这个小美的那个Costco 它有那个真空的，你可以有一卷的，然后它有的是有卖这种已经帮你裁好的，然后你有一个机器，就是把你的肉啊、你的鱼啊，通通放进去以后，你用真空把它真空。我刚刚今天煎的这一块就是用真空，就是用真空机把它先抽的，因为我个人觉得它没有这个我们小美官网上面卖的还有一个洞的那个，就你要自己抽那个气。那个气我那个孔，我有太多的经验是水跑进去的，对，所以你不希望你的那个牛肉这个疏肥好以后，结果有一部分的水从那个煮锅里面跑到你的这个牛排上面，对吧？所以如果你家用很多抽真空的，就是备菜啊，或者是你一次买很大量，然后你要把你分装你的食材。我会建议去买像 Costco 那个 Canadian Tire 也有这种抽真空机，然后它有附赠，就是整卷的，然后你自己裁大小，或是已经这个包装好不同大小的这个真空袋。对，
谢，我没有，我朋友有，我是想借来用一下，然后试一试，看
我个
看效果。
人觉得很方便，因为像我们家用那么多的，像我会分装米。OK， 比如说我带去客人家，我会分装米，那我一出去就是200克，我就会称好，然后 因为它抽了真空，所以你可以保持的这些，特别是 dry food 会比较长久。然后还有这个，因为这种袋子比你的连夹袋 Ziploc 它更厚，所以你如果要放到你的冷冻柜里面，它是比较能够持久，不会让你有那个 freezer burn，就是那个冰箱的。
I know，
对对对对，因为一般的连夹袋它不够厚，而且它不能抗，它经常会破掉。我发现如果你放到冰箱那个冷冻，有时候东西比较硬啊，或是带骨头了，它就不小心我退冰出来，哎，它怎么袋子破了？对，
谢谢。
我还有一个问题，就是我刚刚看你在煎牛排的时候，如果啊，我用特别的煎牛排，那个锅子，那像那个法国的 La Croissant 那种锅子嘛，一个高一个低的，那如此味道会不一样吗？
有纹路的吗？
啊，对。
OK，我们家试过有纹路跟没有纹路的。那个人，有的人喜欢有纹路的，是因为它就是漂亮。但是因为我们大部分人的技术不是很好，那再加上你也不知道什么时候翻。纹路漂亮是，比如说你拿到外面的那个烧烤炉，它的够大的火，你那个纹路就很就是很明显。但是，一般在家里的那个La Creuset 铸铁锅，你的凹我现在要讲的是，你的肉一整片放到一个锅子上，如果下面，等一下，我把我的手机，如果你的下面是凹凸不平的，那它就是有一个部分的肉是没有碰到那个锅子，对吧？所以你要算好时间，或是你要练习过很多次，才会让它的那个纹路很漂亮。就是它要对，然后要确认你的这个铸铁锅够热。不然它放下去，你看它这样子，是不是有部分就是没有碰到那个肉吗？对吧？肉一块这样子，然后有一个是凹凸的嘛，这个凹下去就不会碰到肉了嘛。那你要再漂亮的话，你要再翻面啊，对吧？所以铸铁锅是很好。那我们家也有这种铸铁锅去蒸，就是去煎牛排。但是铸铁锅La Creuset 的我自己没有 La Creuset，所以我们家用的那个铸铁锅是有纹路的，我们最后就煎牛排就不用了，因为它并不是很平均的把那个肉煎得很漂亮。对，
好的，好，谢谢。
我想请问一下，就是刚才没有仔细看您那个水啊，有放柠檬汁吗？
有，因为
为什么要放
？OK， 因为你想，你知道我们在一般有那个热水壶，它加热你的热水壶，它久了以后都会有一个那个钙化 ，OK？那是因为我们的北美的这个自来水里面，它并没有除去一些矿物质，所以久了以后就会钙化。那所以经常我们要把我们的这个插电的水壶要用醋啊，或者是柠檬汁洗过。那同样的，当你的煮锅，小美的煮锅，因为它是不锈钢的，它还有一个刀头在转1个小时到1个小时半，你都是只是在打水。OK， 那因为你的矿物质还在那个水里面，除非你刚刚在这个蒸的时候，那个煮舒肥的时候，你是用饮用水，那它可能是有处理过，它就比较不会有钙化的状态，是为了保护你的不锈钢而已。如果你没有加，然后你马上做完这道牛排，然后你就马上洗，也没有问题，是不是太大的问题？只是为了保护你的这个锅子，我今天是有加的，是因为我舒肥2次，对。
那只是要保护锅子，不是如果你用饮用水不加柠檬汁也可以，
没有关系，因为它不会碰到你的食材，因为你的食材是在袋子的外面，在袋子里面嘛，那柠檬水是在袋子的外面，不会怎么样。我之前有1、2个客人跟我说，为什么他的煮锅下面刀头部分有锈，就是生锈的状态。我问他说：“你是不是煮完你的料理清洗完，然后你就盖住？”他说：“哦，好像是哦，但他没有让它烘干，或是让它就是这个空气蒸发，让那个水分。所以你知道很多它就等于是闷在里面。那 它之前煮什么我们不知道，但是因为我相信它会有锈的状态，是因为它可能煮到强酸的东西，比较强酸的。那柠檬汁是强碱，所以它其实对你的这个不锈钢是好的。特别是我们喜欢保持我们的煮锅是有光亮，然后那个一直就是这样子像新的
看起来跟新的一样。
对，所以常常我们会跟客人说，你你就用柠檬汁打个柠檬汁，让你的这个打了柠檬汁，或者是做一个糖醋排骨，让你的煮锅会光亮，就是因为它是强碱，它对你的这个不锈钢是好的。
好，真的好，谢谢。
Joanne老师问一下，您今天的这个3到5分的牛排温度跟时间，你熟币放了多久啊？
煮币我刚刚1个小时55度，就这样子啊。
就是55度60分钟。
对。
原来冷冻的状态可能要变成。
对，冷冻的状态会要长一点，因为它要等于是它在55度里面要泡久一点，它才有办法把它原来在中间冻的部分，它要先解冻嘛。所以你可以，除非你早上就把它拿出来，或是放到你的冷藏把它解冻，让它不是硬的状态。
通常90分钟够吗？
以我
冷冻的状态，
我觉得要长一点吧。而且你如果因为你的肉的厚度，每一次买，而且有的这个卖肉的，你会发现买出来的这个肉，它不是整块都是同一个高度，对，就是你尽量在选肉的时候是选平均的高度，不是有一片特别就比较矮那样子，那你那一块边边就会比较吃出来，它还是很 juicy， 但是你煎完你可以感觉那边是比较熟的。对，
还有没有其他问题呢？我们今天Joanne老师给我们好多好多的很好的一些经验分享。那我可以补充一下，刚刚那个Vivian 有问到说加柠檬的这个啊，其实像如果你在蒸东西，只是用水上面蒸东西，都可以在我们的水里加一点点的柠檬汁，或者加一点点的白醋，这样蒸出来，你的锅底就不会看到有一些那个水滴的痕迹哦。因为有些朋友他只是用清水去蒸东西之后，锅底会出现有一点那个污渍，他会说哇，这锅子怎么会变得那么脏？其实只要在蒸的过程加一滴滴、一点点的柠檬水或一点点的白醋，就可以避免你的锅底在蒸完之后会有一点那个小黑渍了啊。好，那